Okay, so the 2 points we are looking at today fall into the category of medieval times, which was how long ago? Almost 1,000 years ago, right? Yes, that's right. But Professor, are you sure these are poems? I mean, I thought the poems were shorter. These are more like long stories. I mean, one of them must all about that love, but the other one, the Shanshan, whatever it's called, the other one, it's all about fighting and battles. I mean, can both of them be considered to be poems? Well, think about the very beginning of this course. Remember how we define poetry? In the very broadest sense, so we said it's written to evoke, to make you, the audience, now some kind of emotional experience through the use of imagery. Some kind of predictive rhythm, and usually, but not always, there's more than one meaning implied with the words that are used. Let's start with chanson poetry first. That's chanson. Chanson poems became popular in Europe, particularly in France, and the term is actually short for a longer French phrase that translates to songs of these. Now, they were called songs of these because, strangely enough, they were written to describe the heroic deeds or actions or warriors and knights during conflict. We don't know a lot about Gerson. It's their contests somewhere, but we are pretty sure about who the chanson poems were written for. That is, they were written for the knights and the lords of the nobility that they served. The poems were sung, performed by a minister, a singer who traveled from castle to castle, singing to its local road and its night. Uh, well, would someone summarize the main features of the chanson poem you read? Well, there's a hero named Knight who goes to battle, and he is inspired for his courage, bravery, and loyalty. Loyalty to the extreme danger of the century and his fellow warriors in the field. He's a skilled fighter, willing to face the most extreme dangers, sacrificial, willing to sacrifice anything. Okay, now we'll be given that the intended audience from these nights and roles. What can we say about the purpose of chanson poetry? What kinds of feeling were it meant to provoke? I guess it must have been really appealing to those knights and roles for listening to them. Hearing the songs probably made them feel more patriotic or made them feel like a good noble thing to serve their country or whatever they could. Good, we've got a pretty good picture of what the Shansu people was like. Now let's compare that to the hero in the other poems. The other poem is an example of what's called romance poetry. And the hero in the romance poems was also a knight. But what makes the knights in the romance poetry different from the knights in chanson poetry? Well, first, the purpose of the hero relation was different. The heroes in romance poetry is independent, pretty thorough in a way not like the chanson poet, who was always surrounded by his fighting companions. He doesn't engage in conflict to protect his roles or country. He does it for the sake of adventure to improve himself, to show his worthy of respect and love for his lady. He is very conscious of the particular rules of social behavior he has to live up to somehow, and all of these actions are proving that he is an upright, moral, well-mannered, well-behaved individual. You may have noticed that in chansons poetry, There isn't much about the hero's feeling. The focus is on the actions and deeds. Whereas the romance story describes a lot of the interfering the motivations. Psychology, you could say, overnight trying to improve himself, to better himself so that he's worthy the love of a woman. What is the gift's friendly difference? Well, digging into the historical context tells us what. Romance poetry emerged a few generations after chanson, and its roots were in geographic regions of France that were calmer, where conflict wasn't central to people's lives. In a more peaceful times when there was more time for education and travel. Troubadour poetry. Troubadours were jealous of these new romance poems, and we knew a lot more about the troubadours than we do about the chansons, because they often had small biographical sketches added to the poems that gave pretty specific information about their social status, geographical location, and small outline of their career. This information wasn't particularly reliable because they were sometimes based on fictitious stories, a great adventure, or the squeeze. During video